Chapter 15, Part C, Vendor Take-Back Mortgage. Buyer receives title on completion. This is where a seller takes back or give mortgage for the part of the sale price of the property. Seller takes back or give mortgage. As a real estate rep acting for the vendor, we must protect the vendor and ensure the offer being received from the purchaser is of fair market value, so has a fair market value. As well as the representative must ensure the vendor receiving a fair price, so highlight receiving a fair price vendor. And the buyer is providing an adequate security, highlight adequate security for the loan. In other words, the buyer has a good size down payment, highlight good size down payment. Plus, you must ensure the buyer is capable of supporting this loan. Highlight capable of supporting the loan. The bottom line is, you have to make sure when the vendor is giving the mortgage back, the buyer is paying the adequate down payment and he has capacity to pay the payments every month. Next one is wraparound mortgages. Wraparound mortgages were a creative form of providing additional financing, so highlight creative form for additional financing where an existing mortgage was on the property. It provides the borrower an option to obtain additional funds, so highlight option to obtain additional funds at a rate below the market value, highlight rate below the market value. The clause in the second mortgage agreement directing the first mortgage payments in addition to the wrap funds payment to the wrap lender, who would then control payment to the first mortgagee. These types of mortgages are not widely used anymore in Canada today. Basically, you get additional funds for this one, additional financing. Okay, next is a reverse annuity mortgage. This type of mortgage is reverse, highlight reverse. The lender bank makes a series of payments, advances to the borrower over the term of the mortgage. So highlight a series of payment to the borrower. For example, your house is almost paid off, now you are getting the money from the bank. The bank pays you upfront. Pays upfront at the end of the loan. For the death of the borrower, the loan balance is repaid. So basically, at the end of the loan, for the death of the borrower, the full payment is paid. Next is Federal Interest Act. The Federal Interest Act imposes no limit, highlight no limit, on the interest rate that can be charged in a mortgage. Under the Federal Criminal Code, it is an offense for a person or corporation to enter into an agreement to receive interest at a criminal rate, which is defined as an effective annual rate of over 60%. So higher 60%. So up to 60% you can charge, but over is a criminal act. This provision applies to all types of loans of any amount. Section 3 of the Federal Interest Act states that if a document does not mention interest, then no interest can be charged. Then you are not supposed to pay any interest. So no interest can be charged. As well, if a document mention interest is to be paid, highlight mention, but neglects to mention the rate, then the rate will be set at law 5% per annum. If the banker forgets to write the interest rate, so then it's 5%. Next, a mortgage can require payment to be of principal with interest to be calculated separately or blended payment of principal and interest. So basically, you can pay the payment with principal plus interest. It's called blended. So highlight blended. Section 6 requires that the mortgage document contain a statement of the interest rate calculated either yearly or half yearly. So highlight yearly or half yearly, not in advance. Commonly expressed as annually or semi-annually. It is also known as annually or semi-annually. Next, mortgage repayment. Section 10 of the Federal Interest Act is concerned with individual, not corporations. So highlight individuals. to repay their mortgage. It says any time after the expiry of 5 years, 5 years, from the date of the mortgage for the borrower to tender payment, means give payments of all principal and interest outstanding, plus an additional 3-month interest, additional 3 months, in lieu of notice. After this, no further interest can be charged by the lender. So no interest can be charged. Basically, you can pay off your mortgage with 3 months interest if you extend your mortgage a further term or pay it off after 5 years. So I'll extend for further or pay. For example, say you get a 5-year mortgage. After 5 years, for paying 3 months interest, you can pay off the remaining balance. Okay. But if you renew your mortgage, say another 3 years or so, you must now wait until this term is up to repay the loan. So wait. The prepayment privilege in the federal interest does not apply in these circumstances, and you could not prepay your mortgage until the new 3-year term expires. So if you renew it again, so then it is going to renew for 3 more years. Next is the Consumer Protection Act. The Consumer Protection Act is here to protect the consumer individual, not a corporation, as individual. It will only protect consumer up to 150, so 150. A mortgage up to 150. The Consumer Protection Act will not apply to individual buying or borrowing for business-related purpose. It's only for residential, not for business. So for a business, not apply. Land Title Act. One of the changes made was the adoption of two-part mortgage document, which is now the only mortgage document the Land Title Office will accept for registration. Part 1 is on a prescribed form, contain all the names of the party, highlight names, legal description, highlight signatures and their witness. The Part 2 contains all other terms of the mortgage, highlight terms, which may be the new standard form prescribed by regulation under the Land Title Act. So basically highlight terms. Next, mortgage broker. Mortgage broker lend money, buys and sell mortgages, does 10 mortgages a year, for example, a minimum, collect money secured by mortgages. So basically you can collect money secured by mortgages. Sub-mortgage broker is similar to how a real estate rep is employed by an associate broker. So basically he has to be employed by an associate broker. The sub-mortgage broker is employed by a mortgage broker, yet can do the same thing as a mortgage broker, but cannot be licensed as one for 2 years after receiving, but he must be licensed for 2 years basically. Can be licensed for 2 years. Whenever a mortgage transaction involves a bonus, commission, discount, highlight a bonus, commission, discount, finder fee or brokerage fee, a disclosure statement is required, highlight disclosure statement. Under the Act, a written disclosure statement signed by the lender, highlight lender, must be given to the borrower before the mortgage is signed, highlight before. The borrower must be shown the actual interest rate payable on the monthly actual receipt. So highlight actual. A borrower can rescind the mortgage agreement within 48 hours. So he can rescind within 48 hours, highlight 48 hours.